It happened in a museum basement, under the hum of flickering fluorescent lights. A graduate student named Elias was cataloging artifacts no one else wanted, the academic equivalent of forgotten things. He picked up a small, cracked stone tablet labeled simply, Ritual Fragment, Meaning Unknown. Elias ran a finger along the inscription. He wasn't praying, just curious. He sounded out the ancient syllables, patient and careful. The air in the room suddenly thickened. Far below the city, in a place untouched by time, something took a breath for the first time in 8,000 years. Elias felt it first, a strange pressure behind his eyes, like a memory trying to surface. The tablet grew warm in his hand. "Oh," he whispered to himself, "that's not a vowel." The lights dimmed. Dust motes lifted from the shelves and hung motionless in the air. Time itself seemed to pause, unsure if it was still needed. A voice spoke, not with sound, but inside his own thoughts, using them like stepping stones. "You spoke me whole." Elias stumbled back, heart pounding. I didn't mean to." Intent is a luxury of youthful gods." The basement walls dissolved, peeling away to reveal a vast, star-strewn darkness. The constellations were alien, with no modern names. A shape coiled within that blackness, too immense to be seen all at once, older than language itself. Elias dropped to his knees. Are you going to destroy us?" The god considered this. The weight of its thought felt like mountains deciding where to settle. "Once I was made for that. They fed me war and calamity. I grew accustomed to screams." Elias swallowed hard. "And now?" The darkness shifted. Images flooded his mind. Temples crumbling into dust, cities vanishing, entire civilizations eroding into myth. Then, there was only silence. Centuries upon centuries of it. I slept because I was no longer needed. Elias dared to look up into the void. Then why wake now? The god's immense presence softened, just a fraction. Because you spoke with care. The stone tablet in the room cracked completely in two. From the fracture, something bled out, not blood, but pure memory. Elias saw the god as it once was, invoked not just for destruction, but for the endings that made room for new beginnings, for the quiet that follows a storm, for the simple mercy of closure. "My worshippers forgot that part," the god's thought echoed. "They always do." Elias found his voice again, though it trembled. "What happens now?" There was a long, deep pause. "Now I must decide what kind of god I will be this time." The sounds of the city above them filtered down. Sirens, arguments, laughter, someone playing a violin badly, but with earnest passion. The god listened. It truly listened to the symphony of human life. "You are loud," it observed. "Messy, afraid." Elias could only nod. "Yes. But you keep trying. That is new." The darkness began to fold inward, condensing, shrinking like a star choosing not to explode. "I will not rise as I did before," the god declared. "No temples, no empires." "What will you be then?" Elias asked, his voice barely a whisper. The god smiled inside his mind, a sensation like the first warmth of spring after a long, cold winter. "A witness." Suddenly, the lights snapped back to their buzzing reality. The basement was just a basement again. Dusty shelves, old artifacts, and the cracked stone tablet on the floor. The inscription had faded completely, as if it had never been there. Weeks passed, then months. Strange things began to happen in the world. Wars ended abruptly. Not with treaties, but with a sudden collective exhaustion. Dictators resigned without explanation. People started to feel, inexplicably, that some endings didn't require violence. Elias published his paper on the tablet. It was politely ignored by the academic community. But sometimes, late at night, when the world grew quiet and held its breath, Elias would feel it, the quiet, constant presence of something ancient and awake. It was watching the world, not with hunger or judgment, but with something that felt remarkably like hope. And for the first time in history, a god did not ask to be worshipped. It asked only to be allowed to see what came next.